शब्द बिना सारा जग अंधा, काटे कौन मोह का फंदा। शब्द बिना सारा जग अंधा, काटे कौन मोह का फंदा। शब्द बिना बिरथा सब तंदा, शब्द बिना बिरथा सब तंदा। शब्द बिना जीव बंधन बंधा, शब्द बिना जीव बंधन बंधा।
Welcome seekers to today's spiritual satsang, titled Traditional Practices, Rituals, Ancestral Worship, and Offerings. I have with me the guest speaker for today, who is an advanced disciple of a perfect living master. So, guest speaker, on the topic of ancestral worship, I know some cultures practice this, especially in the Asia region. They believe in providing offerings such as food to the ancestors. In your opinion, how does this relate to the concept of karma and reincarnation?
Yeah, as the perfect living master always said that, in a particular group of karma, the same people always reincarnate within the same group. So, according to Ishwarpuriji, there's one time a disciple go to ask great master about, he say about when somebody get initiated from a perfect living master. The perfect living master is in charge of taking care of 7 generations of that person, meaning that the master will take care and leading them onto the spiritual path, and they get initiation and liberation later on. So that person asks, Master, according to 7 generations, how do you count that? You count the 7 generations that will come in the future, or you count backwards the 7 generations from the past? And he said, what is different then? There's always the same people coming back.
Yeah. So this ties
So
in
let's say-
with reincarnation, right?
So let's say when you came down into the creation as a soul, as a group of souls, and take on the particular karmic pattern, right? For example, you come down, and in the play, you choose to be Chinese people. So most of the group of the soul, let's say if it is around 1,000 souls, right? 1,000 people. Then those 1,000 of people will mostly born into the Chinese culture in different timelines. Mean being as your grandpa, grandma, being your father, mother, brother, sister, even your neighbor, your friends, right? And your close relative like uncle, auntie, right?
Yep.
And later on, maybe become your son, your daughter, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. But all these souls will belong to the same particular group of karma.
I see.
So when the time that master given initiation, for example, to you, as a son in a family. So yes, Master helped the whole 7 generation in your cycle of reincarnation, meaning your parents get help, your grandparents get help, your great grandparents get help, and the grandparents before that get help, and also as the future generation to come. Yeah. So let's say you are in the middle.
Okay.
And if you count that, like in the logical way, maybe 3 generations before and after this 3 generations. But it's not exact like that.
Got it.
Because the soul will always come back because of the affinity. They will come back to the same group of people anyway. If they not get liberation or, out of this karmic cycle, so they will keep reincarnate in the same group and share the same particular kind of karma.
I see.
Like most of the family, if they are poor, they mostly stay poor. One or two might be catching up a little bit, but mostly will be that kind of struggle karmically.
I see.
It depends on the play, on the story that you chose to play as a group of souls. Because ultimately, we belong to each other and we are one. We just want to explore the variety in this creation, that you can be good person, you can be bad person, you can be greedy person, right? Or you can be, loving and kind person as well. So you want to explore the variety of character. That's why, the whole group, we make it complete
I
as
see.
the one story.
I see. So, with regards to ancestral worship, maybe for non-disciples or just a normal family, does this mean that they're actually worshipping? I mean, putting in the concept of reincarnation. So maybe you have like 4 generations worshipping, giving offerings to their ancestors who were born 4 generations ago. So it could technically also mean that these guys will be reborn as their future descendants, and then they'll probably be worshipping their past characters per se, right?
Okay. So, according to this ancestral worship, let's say mostly the belief come from ancient Chinese, right? In the past, I used to have friends, right? And I witnessed also about this Chinese culture of ancestral worship. So let's say like this will be particular day of the year or particular month right now. They do the offering to their ancestor, right?
Right now, like especially like in places like in Singapore and Malaysia, even in China, this month is like the Hungry Ghost Festival month, where they will give offerings to the spirit world, and maybe also offerings to the ancestors. Yeah, so this is coincidentally this is the month is happening right now as we speak. Yeah.
So, from what I observe, what they do is that they will have some kind of food, like sometimes in some family they will do like each one will bring their food from home, or they put money together to buy some food let's say it's a feast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it will contain a lot of snack. It will contain, sometimes they bought the whole chicken.
Yep.
They bought like a pig head,
Yep.
right? And they bought like a lot of fruits.
Yep.
And along the side, they also bought some kind of paper, like money paper,
Yep.
and a tiny paper house, a tiny paper car,
Mm-hmm.
and so on, right? So apart from offer this food on the table and play to their grandfather, their great grandparents, their ancestor,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And on the side they will burn this paper thing as well.
Yeah. So my question is, I was very fascinated with that practice. By burning this, I think they are hoping that they will somehow send over all these gifts to the other side. So back in the spiritual sense of things, the other side, in my opinion, is like could probably be the astral world, right? What's your take on this?
Right. I did question as well, like you, like, will it actually reach them? You know, who actually come and eat, or it's just only us
Yeah.
benefit? After they put on the table for a certain time, they put the incense on that, and
Yep.
when the incense finished, then we just, like brought it down and distribute among the family, member, and then eat,
Yep.
Is that like, like that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Master has shown me the spirit world. So the spirit world, it can be the area that overlaps from human world to astral world. So it's like an overlapping zone,
Okay.
right? And this spirit world can also extend into like a lower part, part of astral world, because in the astral level, it's very complex. It contains 150 world, right, inside there, which is very vast if we compare to the human world.
Okay.
And each of regions, they have different energy, a different area, and sometimes they overlapping as well. So the spirit that still look like your ancestor, right? Let's say when they die, if they remain the same shape, mostly they will stay in the overlap zone, or they stay within the lower part of astral level.
Okay.
But now that's a law. Within, let's say, 49 days or maximum 100 days, the spirit that depart from from the physical body, they will stay in this overlap zone, because they will have to wait for the judgment, for they be taken to the justice court, the Karmic court, that the Lord, the Lamraj, gonna judge them about their good deed and bad deeds.
Okay.
So after a person dies, you still can pray to them. You still can give some form of food, drink to them. And they will actually hear you, and they will come to receive whatever you give them.
Okay.
If you, during that time, 49 days or 100 days after the passing of the person, you meditate for them, you make good merit or good deed for them, then it will add up in their account.
I see.
Better, good, or bad, or if somebody is a bad person and passing away and people cursing him or her a lot, it will also add up in their it's like a list of good or bad thing. It
I
will
see.
add up there. Let's say it have a point. Then, at the time of judgment,
Okay.
they will read it out. How much percentage of goodness the spirit have? How much percentage of badness the spirit have? And they will actually said that they will have to pay for goodness and they will have to pay for badness. So some part of the goodness they deserve to born in, let's say, a lower level of heaven, right?
Okay.
Or in some part of the bad deeds, they will have to go to hell.
Got it.
So the Lord, the Ramraj, will asking them to choose where do they want to go first? To go to heaven first, or go to hell first?
I
But
see.
they have to go to that clean up process before they born again as human.
Oh. And okay, I just want to ask. Let's say they choose to go to hell or heaven first, right? I'm sure that the time aspect, if in the astral world and in the hells and heavens, is a bit different than in the human world, right? I mean, the concept of time there. So
Yes.
my question is, let's say if you have to spend like 1,000 days in heaven and 1,000 days in hell, does that mean that and then only after that you are reincarnated back into the world? Does it mean that you spend 2,000 days of human or physical time, or does it
No.
accelerate itself? And it seems like today you died, and then tomorrow you are reincarnated into another being on Earth. Is it that fast?
Yes.
Or yeah.
The time is not like solid like that in human world, right? Because the time here, even in our physical earth, is imaginary time. We set it up because we see the sunrise and the sunset, and the way that we cycle to the sun, right?
Yeah.
So we have seasons, so we have year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So in that, it's not like that. Let's say it's a timeline, but the time in astral world is more a feeling time. That you will be in that particular heaven for to the amount that you feel that it is like 100 days compared to a human world. Right?
Yep.
And same as in hell. So it's quite difficult to say if you compare to the time. In some religions, they actually said that time in astral world is faster than the human world. But it depends, because in the astral world, there's many worlds. In the astral level, there's many worlds within it.
Got it.
The higher it is, time will move different than the lower level of astral world, which is closer to human world. So the time that the one that close to human world, the time will be closing to us, right?
Yeah.
Will move at the very similar pace.
Got it.
As the human world. Let's say in the overlap zone, it will move in very similar pace as in human world, like that. That's why they can count 49 days, they can count 100 days before the judgment comes.
Got it.
Right. So you said that if the food, the offering that they offer actually reach them. Yes, in the first 49 days or the first 100 days, according to some custom, it will directly reach them as it is, like 100%. But after that, when they put into the system, right? For example, if the overlap zone is like kind of like out of system, existing out of the system, and if they already been put in heaven, they has been putting into hell according to the punishment and reward law of karma, right?
Yep.
They will receive less.
I see.
Less, I mean, it also depends on the level of the awareness of the giver.
Got
If
it.
that person is is very holy, very high awareness, it can reach them almost 100%.
I see.
But if the giver is very coarse, like didn't keep precept, drinking a lot, eat a lot of meat, always be jealous, angry, and upset, and not nice to other people. So the deduction of the let's say merit is there. It deduct to the person first, and then whatever left will go through the system until reaching there. Like you say, like you send a parcel to them, it will filter through the system until reaching the spirit in the spirit world. For example, if you give to your loved one, you want to give this particular food to the grandma, let's say the passing grandma. And if you're not pure and your level of awareness is not high, it's not going to reach her 100%. It's not going to reach her that much.
I see.
I would say for average human being, at average, not too spiritual, not too holy, and not too bad, it will reach them maybe only 10%.
Wow.
When filtered through the system.
I see.
Because this thing is like a bribery as well, like you want to send some food to someone that's in the prison, let's say, right? Yep. So from you, it will have to deduct from you first because you commit a bad thing,
Correct.
And then this energy cannot send out without deduction from your side first. And then after that, when go through the system, in different guardians, different deity that take care of that realm, they will deduct this as well.
So it's like the gifts have text to it, right?
Yeah,
I
that's
see.
right.
Like you pay the tolls.
System.
I see. Just like when you're driving a car through the different tolls, you are just deducted. Or you take this highway, I deduct $2 from you, and then you have to pay additional. I got it. So
and if the spirit already reincarnate, let's say the grandparents already passed away, like 50 years already passed away, but nowadays we as a ritual each year we still do the offering to them, right?
Yeah.
They might not be there anymore in the spirit world.
Correct.
Within the karmic realm, right? They might not there. They're already, born in the human world. Will that offering reach them? Yes, it will reach them. But they will get a lot of deduction until, they in the physical get that.
I see. It could also be a case where you passed away and then your son, your granddaughters, or your grandchildren burn offerings for you, and then after a certain amount of years, you reincarnate back into the same family, and then you adopt the same practice, and then you
actually burn for yourself.
yeah, you're actually burning for yourself. I mean, it could be that way, right? I'm just thinking and it could be a cycle. So every one of them are actually burning for themselves offerings, because little did they know that they have already reincarnated back into the human body.
Yeah, because that's a lot of time. Your grandparents come back as your son or daughter in the family as the grandchildren that look exactly like them, right? Sometimes it's like that too.
Yeah. I mean, probably it's happening, and these guys don't even realize it. So, okay.
But I still think that this ritual is good as for them to get together. But as me, as I am vegan, so I feel sorry for the animal too that has been slaughtered and offer, to them on the particular ceremony or particular month that they're doing that. I did feel sorry for that part.
Yeah.
But if they get together, they do like fruit or a vegan food that offer to them. I'm sure that, the merit and the portion of the food or item that we give, we reach them more because there's a less deduction from your side, from the physical karma, the karmic act that we do daily.
So what
it's like an exchange of energy. Do you understand?
Correct. Yes. What if instead of your normal fruits, your normal paper house or paper cars that you burn as offerings, I'm sure that there once upon a time these communities they do also blood sacrifices. They sacrifice like what you mentioned earlier, animals, right? So like maybe a cow or something they sacrifice, and the blood they send as offerings. Now this act is a very tragic act, and it generates a lot of karma, negative karmic consequences. So what I'm asking is, will these karmic consequences passed on? So instead of you sending over like gifts and offering, are you sending like negative karmic I don't know currency over to your ancestors? If you take a life, for example, or you slaughter like 10 goats for them. You get what I mean? Yeah.
This killing energy, also called sacrifice like this, will also attract other not so good beings to come during the ceremony and hanging around. Let's say like a demon, like a demon that loves the smell of the blood. They will actually come during you do this offering and hanging around, waiting for their turn. So after you say you offer to the spirit, during that particular offer day or offer period of time, the hell gate will open, the lower gate of heaven will open, and they allow to come into the human world to get their gift, right? To get the offering. After they get their own one, then the demon and hungry ghosts that hanging around will rush in to get the rest. Because they love the meat, they love the blood, they love that killing energy.
I see.
They love that. So it's also invite not so good thing into your house, into your family. And yes, it caused a lot of deduction of karma as well, of the the merit that suppose you want to give to your loved one
Yeah.
in the spirit world
Yep.
is also deduct because of these
I see.
hanging around and try to get it.
I
Like a
see.
beggar, like a beggar that hanging around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Got
If
it.
you can see, it's terrifying.
Ye-
If you have the eye to see what actually happened during that time, it's terrifying.
I see. So let's say
Yeah.
for disciples in this community, so let's say they live in communities that practice like this, or the disciples themselves once practice, ancestral worship or rituals, right? Burning of offerings. What does this mean for them? For example, if they are initiate or disciple of a perfect living master, should they stop doing this because it has become cultural and it's a cultural practice, or should they totally stop, or should they just continue knowing the fact that this is just a practice and it's just to please the mind, and maybe instead of sacrificing animals, I'm just going to give vegan offering from now on. What's your take on that?
Okay. Things like this, sometimes we're just doing for the sake of it and we don't understand what actually happening in the spirit world, right?
Yeah.
So when you have a better wisdom that, there's something greater than this, right? And there's a better help that you can give them. Let's say as a disciple of a perfect living master, you can actually pray to master for them to elevate it from their circumstance. Or even, you can pray for them. So the merit that reaching them, deduct the time, let's say 100 years that they're going to spend in hell. So it deduct that, like each time that you pray to master to help them, it deduct the time. So they might just, let's say, spend 10 years there and come back as a human again, right? It's a better way because when master in charge of this, master can give grace to them, can being like a divine intervention to help them, right? So they can come back to a human form quickly and be able to see master physically and get darshan and trishti, right? So later on, they can become initiate too.
I see.
So if they become initiate, it's a guarantee that they will be out of the cycle of transmigration. They will be out of the samsara. And but if you in the family where the majority of the people doing this, you should not be the cause of upsetting disagreement, because suddenly you just follow something else that they don't understand, and you stop doing that.
Yeah.
You can go along with them, but in your heart and mind, you pray to your master sincerely, saying that, okay, master, please help and uplift this relative, this group of souls as a whole, so one day they can become human and have your darshan and can become your disciple. Or you can even pray to your immediate family, the one that are still human, in human form, that one day they will wake up from this illusion, and try to seek the truth for themselves. You can pray to that as well. Okay, for example, what happened in my family, right? Because my family, we all initiate now as brother, mother, my brother, and me, right? four of us, we already initiate of the master.
Yep.
And in our house in the north, we also alongside we open a mini guest house, right?
Okay.
So after we get initiated, we convert the house and some part of the house. We renovate the house to become guest house.
Okay.
In the ground, it used to be a tiny spirit house. Have you ever seen a spirit house?
Yes. A small one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That we believe that, if we have the spirit house, the spirit house will take care of the land. And every day we have to offer the flower, offer some snack and food to them and light the incense, right? So after we all get initiated, we're thinking like, we should give up on this practice.
Okay.
Because there's no point. Because Master promised to us now that from the initiation day,
Yep.
Master will take care of our life.
Yep.
And also, Master gonna take care of the seventh generation. So there's no need to rely on these things, right?
Yep.
So we just remove that, simply remove that. And other people in the family on my father's side, because we live very near to one another, they feel upset. They feel like, why are you doing that? Right? What if bad thing come to you? You have no protection over your land.
I see.
So one day, my cousin have brought some of his relatives from another town and asking to stay in our guest house. So we welcome them and everything. And they spend like 2 nights in our guest house. And two of them, there's many of them, but two of them happen to have a same dream where they said a woman come in very like a stunning dress, traditional dress, and smile to them and say like, welcome to them.
Okay.
Yeah. And when they wake up, they realize that, oh my God, what did I see? Is that a ghost? Or is that like a guardian spirit of the land? So they get very panic. So they right away, when they wake up, they go to buy some flower, some incense, and some snack for offering. So they go and offer to the corner of my land where it's supposed to be the spirit house.
Okay.
Right? They was thinking that, because of this family, they give up of that practice. So see, the spirit come to us and try to, try to tell us something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I just asked my father, Father, how did they describe the spirit that they see? Are they dressing like this and that and this? Then I point at the Supreme Master picture.
Yeah.
And he just looked, exactly like that.
Okay.
So the Master has come, in the dream, in two of them.
Yeah.
Master has come in the radiant form and just greeting them, welcome them to the family house. You understand?
Yeah, yeah.
But they think that is a ghost.
Yeah.
because
Okay.
they didn't know. So this just to show you that, yes, after initiation, Master do take care of us and even the relatives.
Yeah.
But they don't know anything of what we actually practicing because we just keep it to ourselves, right?
Yes, correct.
Because we think that, they won't understand. But I just said to my father, see, it's just to show you that, the promise that Master given to us, it's real.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it is, definitely. Okay. And okay, then what about the fact, okay, let's say if a disciple passes away, right? And then the other family members who are not initiates or who are not practitioners of the path, they offer this disciple who has passed away. They offer, like, food, or they offer, worse still, they do some blood sacrifice without knowing, because it's just another family member, right? What will happen to these gifts? Will the disciples receive it, or it just goes nowhere? Since after death, the disciple is always taken care by the master.
Master will be the one who receive it.
Okay,
And master will take care of it.
I
Let's
see.
say like that.
I see. Got it.
I would say, this topic that we talked today is about the people who curious
Yeah.
and the people who follow the custom of the East, which the most ancient religious of us, the belief of us is the ancestral worship. Because only because in the past, when we don't have any religious to follow yet, we try to fend for ourselves. So we try to create the most holy concept that we think of at that time.
Yes.
But and we think that, oh, okay, the people who passed away from our family, because they used to be responsible for us before, so we should, take them to be our guardian, right? When something good or bad happen in the family, so they can take care of us. So that's the most ancient form of worshipping. So later on, when we have adopt the concept of religions, being Buddhism, Hindu, Islam, right, or Christian, in Asia, we still adopt that even into the religious practice.
Yes, correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And we still go to the temple to do offering for our ancestor. Still, it's only because the religious had to marry with the custom and tradition that the people believe as well, to convince them to come to the temple.
Yep.
Yeah. But this thing, as we evolving, as a true seeker, we all go through that, right? And if you are evolving from your tradition, from your belief, then you can slowly withdraw from that tradition. Because now you are on path of the truth, and you only practice of what is truth. Because you seek to raise above this illusion. Why you still have to follow this illusion then, right?
Correct.
So you have to do only what is logical to you and what is truth in your heart. You can do that. But still, you have to respect the society as a whole, not to just to stand up and say that, oh, what I'm doing is correct, what I'm doing is the best, and put other people down.
Yep.
That is not the way. Being a true seeker, we also have to be very humble, more humble than the people from tradition and religious, because you practice the truth. You practice the real essence of spirituality. And when you raise above all of this illusion, you will see that there's no point to offer or to pray to the deity, to the guardians, or to your ancestor for, for good, for wealth, because everything is already pre-written in your karmic pattern.
Yep.
Whatever has to come will come. Whatever you have to face in life, you have to face it. You can't run away. You can't ask for help. Because every crisis,
Mm-hmm.
there is a meaning of it.
Yep.
Every crisis is put in there for you to learn, for you to improve yourself, for you to evolve in your spiritual development.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the purpose of every crisis, sickness that happen in your life.
That's true.
But for the disciple of Master, when you don't have that kind of enlightenment yet, when you can't raise above this illusion world yet, and you can't know the complete picture of this karmic realm, you can still play to Master. You can still go to Master and ask for help. Master, please help me. I'm very struggle in day-to-day life. And I think this stressful feeling is really affect my spiritual practice. I can't focus. So on that, you can help Master. And Master will give help to you in a way that it removes obstacle, hindrance, in your life. So you can be able to focus more in your mind and meditate and get enlightenment for yourself. When you get the proper enlightenment, then you won't ask anymore. You will see, everything is perfect.
Yep.
This creation is already created in a way that that's a good or bad. It's a pair of the opposites. That's a night and day. So everything will come as the cycle, right?
Yeah.
And when you raise above that, and when Master guarantee for your liberation, why you should worry about this pettiness, this small problem in life? You should not.
Yeah.
So real spiritual practitioner, they never really worry about anything because they see this life as Maya, as illusion.
Yeah.
They just go along, with
Yeah.
this life. But they don't take anything seriously. So if it's me, if my family is still in the ancestral worship, I will try to find out what is real then, what is the truth, is this food really reaching them, or other kind of spirit take over this food? I will
Yeah.
try to find out about the truth. Then I will practice accordingly what should be done and what should not be done
Yeah.
in the tradition, the way that it makes sense to me.
That's it for today's satsang. Thank you, guest speaker, for spending time with us for this satsang. If you want more information about Easter Asia, please go to www.easterasia.com. You can also subscribe to our newsletter and email us any inquiries you may have regarding spirituality. Thank you for listening.